So let us start the next vritti, and this vritti is nidra. As I told you earlier in the previous shloka, now हमें ये समझना पड़ेगा कि अगर निद्रा भी एक वृत्ति है तो क्या ये वही निद्रा है जो हम रोज लेते हैं या फिर कुछ और है. So we will just try to understand that. So Maharishi Patanjali in his 10th shloka he explains abhav pratyay alambana vritti nidra. So abhav is absence. Abhav का मतलब होता है absence. Abhav. Pratyay means the experience or content of the chitta. Alambana is, which means a support for hanging or suspending a thing. आलम्बन करने के लिए a support. Now vritti is a functional modification of chitta and nidra is sound or dreamless sleep. So the vritti which is based on the experience, of total absence of any content of the chitta is nidra. The vritti which is based on total absence of experience is nidra or total dreamless state. So even that modification of mind in which there is no content in the mind is classed as vritti, which is called nidra. So when there is no content in the mind, now here he has not told that there is no content, that means that there is a suppressed content or content which is suppressed and present from long time, but during that particular time 6 or 8 hours there is no content, it is not coming out. So dreamless sleep is an inert state of consciousness in which the sense of existence is not felt. When you are sleeping and there are no dreams, so it is a tamasic state of your consciousness where you don't feel your sensory organs, sensory experiences, nothing remains inside. You are free from everything because too much of tamasic accumulation is present in the dreamless state. Now sleep is a state in which all the activities of thought and feeling come to an end. A dreamless sleep should be without any thoughts and without any dreams. So we are discussing about that particular sleep. So sleep is a state in which all the activities of thoughts and feeling come to an end. In sleep, the senses of perception rest in the mind. So in the sleep, the senses of perception, whatever your gyanendriyas are there, they rest in the mind. The mind rests in the consciousness, in the chitta, and the chitta rests in the being. So sleep is of again 3 types. Now we have to understand which type of sleep we are discussing. So the senses are resting in the mind, mind is resting in the chitta, chitta is resting in the being. So let us understand the different types of sleep, different types of sleep now. So first we will talk about the sattvic sleep. Then we will see what is rajasic sleep, and then we will see what is tamasic sleep. So sattvic sleep. If one feels heavy and dull after the sleep, suppose you are feeling very tired and dull after the sleep, that sleep has been called as tamasic sleep. Now sleep which is disturbed, where you have some thought process coming and going, and there is a disturbance, it is called rajasic sleep. Now sleep that brings lightness, brightness and freshness is sattvic sleep. So I have seen many people, those who don't get dreams, those who don't get any thoughts during the sleep, but when they get up in the morning they are not fresh. Whole day they still feel heaviness, tiredness. And there are people, those who sleep for very less time, and they are very light and bright in their day-to-day activities. So you have to understand the different types of sleep, sattvic, rajasic and tamasic activity. During this time, a person is in the state of blank or void state in the mind. So basically what happens, In the basically during this time, a person is a state of total blank or void in the mind, because when you are in a dreamless sleep, there is a total blank or void in the mind, because there is no pratyay, there is no pratyay in the field of consciousness, because we have already discussed that all the sense perception or indriyas are resting in the mind. So nothing can be remembered. Mind also is resting in the chitta, chitta is in the being. So here there is no pratyay, there is no substance in the field of consciousness. So you are in a different state and tamasic state is overpowering now. So in the states of correct knowledge, that is pramana, viparya or vikalp, and the knowledge born of memory, that is smriti, one is awake basically. All these different remaining four vrittis, here you get the knowledge in awake stage. Mind and consciousness are drawn by the senses into the contact with the external objects, thus one gains knowledge in this. Only in the sleeping stage, when you are sleeping, there is no direct contact with the object. So in deep sleep, these four types of knowledges are absent. So in deep sleep, correct knowledge, perverse knowledge, fanciful knowledge, and knowledge born of memory is absent because there is no direct contact. The senses of perception cease to function because their king, the mind, is at rest. And senses are also resting in the mind. So this is called abhav, a state of void, a feeling of emptiness. Abhav, pratyay, alambana, vritti, nidra. So this absence of any activity of the mind and in the mind is abhav. Sleep in moderation does not hinder progress. Sleep in moderation is allowed in yoga also. It does not hinder your progress. But excessive sleep and certainly absent mindedness in one's activities may hinder progress in yoga. So this sleep can be clished. It can be painful if you oversleep. Aclished, when you are a sadhak, your sleep has to be just like a dog's sleep. So when it is that type of sleep, so automatically what happens? It helps you for the development of yoga and your sadhanas. So, but the sleep here should not be understood as the physiological condition of resting. So earlier also I have told you, in the previous sutra also I have discussed this, that the sleep which you are undergoing during this particular state should never be understood as the physiological sleep. It is rather the cognitive state of mind that occurs during dreamless sleep, when the mind does not manifest any thought because of the trigunas. So what happens when your mind is occupied by sattvic guna, your sleep will be different. When tamasic guna, sleep will be different, and rajasic guna, sleep will be different. So here what happens? So actually the fourth vritti explained in Yoga Sutra does not correspond to the dream state of sleep, as dream state of sleep correspond to the smritis. If it is dream state, then it will be smritis. So nidra refers to deep dreamless sleep. It takes place when the tamasic element of the mind densely covers the sattvic nature of consciousness. So consciousness, your senses are resting in the manas, manas is resting in the chitta. When tamasic element of your manas overpowers the sattvic element of the chitta, then you enter in that sleep, because all the impressions are present in the chitta. So nothing is able to come out, and because of that you don't get any sleep. So on the other hand, in a dream state, the rajas is more active. In a dream state, rajas is more active because you experience everything. Your mind is active. This churns up past samskaras and they produce dream state. So because of the rajas activity and rajas property, all the past samskaras are churned and then it produces a dream. Now in the deep sleep, Rajas is inactive. In the deep sleep, dreamless sleep, Rajas is inactive, and so the mind is not stimulated to assume the form of the objects of the knowledge as it does in the waking and dream states. So in the deep sleep, Rajas is basically inactive because Tamas is active here. So the mind is not stimulated to assume the form of the objects of the knowledge as it does in the waking or dream states. Because first thing is Rajas, the activity is different, churning is happening here, but in Tamas there is no churning of the thoughts and past samskaras. So naturally no figure and imagination or no dreams can come here. So here what happens, Purusha here is consciousness, Purusha here is conscious about the darkness or Tamas alone here. So here the presence, anyway Purusha remains the same. So the consciousness basically reflects the tamasic nature to the Purusha, and that is the only thing which is present here. So more than this nothing gets accumulated, and even that is the reason, because tamas pravritti is increasing, that is the reason, and that also gets stored in the in your chitta. So that is the reason it is studied in the vrittis, because that also is not a good sign for the yogic path. Due to preponderance of tamas, there is a suppression of all other vrittis. Because there is a increase of tamas, there is suppression of all other vrittis. One can consider deep sleep as chitta vritti nirodha, explained by Patanjali as no activity is happening here. It can be experienced in that way, but one must remember that this state is present because of smothering of sattvic state by tamas. It is not a natural thing. It is because there is a smothering of sattvic state by tamasic state, and therefore it cannot be Satchitananda Swarup or the Satchitananda Sthiti. So as in the state of Samadhi, Sattva is maximum and Chitta Vritti Nirodha occurs in full vibrant wakefulness and in complete clarity and purity of mind. That doesn't happen in the sleep state. So tamasic pravritti or tamas is increased here, and that's why it cannot be compared with the Chitta Vritti Nirodha, because nothing is happening. Most of the people may get doubt ki then it can be same. So in the state of Samadhi, Sattva is maximum and Chitta Vritti Nirodha occurs in full vibrant wakefulness and in complete clarity and purity. The imprints which mind receives from the sense organs are pratyayas, or the sources, or cause or source, and alambana is the support of the mind, referred upon which yogi has chosen to focus on concentrate the mind. So in the state of deep sleep is total absence of cause or any pratyaya and its support in that state of mind, and that's why it is called NIDRA vritti, because there is no support for the mind to focus, because everything is suppressed by the tamas, and that's why it is also a vritti. So mind also cannot do anything because there is a tamasic activity in the mind which overpowers the sattvic activity of the chitta. So mind also is not able to do any activity, and because sensory organs also resting in the mind, so nothing. So with all the impressions of the senses, mind and chitta also is in a tamasic state. So that's why it is a strong and very, very important vritti which need to be inhibited or stopped. So it is very important that nidra, and in yoga it is always told that unless and until you control your nidra, unless and until you control this vritti, you will not be able to grow, because a yogi, for him sadhana is more important, and this is the time where tamasic nature or tamasic pravritti increases, and yogi has to do the sadhana to reduce this tamasic pravritti totally and try to increase the sattvic nature inside him. Actually, beyond the trigunas we have to go, but till you are living and till you are in a normal state of life, at least tamasic and rajasic should reduce to its maximum, and sattvic has to be increased. So when sattvic is increased, tamasic is reduced totally, then that type of sleep will be totally different, and that type of sleep will be helpful for you in the sadhana. But if tamasic is more, where the chitta also is not able to do anything because of tamasic activity of the mind, so all the suppressions, everything is in a totally suppressed form. So this is about the nidra. Now we will go for the next vritti, which is called smriti. So smriti is something which you have experienced in the past, right? So smriti is something which you have already experienced. So what he says, anubhut vishaya asampramosha smriti. So anubhut is experienced, vishaya is subject, asampramosha literally means deprivation or total deprivation is called smriti. So smriti is the vritti on account of which the chitta does not undergo a complete deprivation of experience subject is called smriti. So memory is unmodified recollection of words and experiences. Whatever happens around you, whatever your sensory organs listen, whatever your sensory organs they see, everything is accumulated in the chitta, becomes a memory. Memory is a modification of consciousness, allowing us to recapture past experiences. Whatever past we have seen, whatever has happened with us, everything is recollected. Memory is here defined as retention of past experiences in the mind. So, a retention of all the past experiences in the mind is called memory. But it is to be noted that these experiences are retained in the chitta as mere impressions or the sanskaras, as long as they are present in their potential form as mere impressions. Maharishi Vyas says that memories are generated from other vrittis. So Maharishi Vyas, he says very clearly, memories are generated from the other vrittis described earlier, like praman, viparya, vikalp or nidra. As individual vrittis form the pratyay, as every individual vritti, har vritti jo hai, it will become a pratyay or the source to become the imprint in the form of memory. So every vritti, praman, viparya, vikalp and nidra becomes a source of that imprint or that particular blueprint, you can say, and it forms the memory. So here Patanjali describes the retention or literally non-slipping away or asampramosha of the object of experience, which is experience anubhut vishaya from the chitta. So you are not allowing anything to go away from you. Whatever you have experienced is called memory. As perception changes, memory too may alter, but correctly used, it enables us to recall experiences in their true and pristine state. This ability is found to be very important for the foundation of the practice of yoga, because it will help you to discriminate what is right, what is wrong. So the 5 properties of consciousness or chitta bhumis can be equated with the 5 fluctuations of consciousness. You have seen the chitta bhumis. Now we will just see how they are related with the consciousness. So when you are in the nidra avastha of vritti, so it will be mudha avastha of your chitta bhumi. In nidra you are in mudha avastha, totally dull. Now when chitta vritti is viparya or mithya gyan, it is kshipta avastha. When imagination, it is vikshipta, because it is imagination, you are trying to hop. Now ekagravastha or one-pointedness is with the help of the memory. One-pointedness is always with the help of the memory, so you can focus. And nirodhavastha can be achieved with the practice of pramana. So pramana are that also the pratyaksha pramana or yog pramana. So if you practice in this way, what happens? You'll be able to control all the vrittis. So here we complete all the 5 vrittis. So what I want from all of you is to at least see these videos at least 3 to 5 times, because only in one sequence you will not be able to understand everything. Try to see it multiple times so that you remember it properly. So now the coming will be how to control these vrittis. So next we will see that.